Carp fishing in the UK is absolutely booming, and with day ticker lakes becoming more busier and more pressured, you need an edge to outfish the angler next door. Today we are at Naseby Reservoir, and with it being 93 acres in size, gaining popularity and gaining pressure, the fish are being pushed out of range. And you need to be able to reach those fish that others can't, and today we're going to be casting solid bags at range. Oh my God, what am I doing?
Hey.
Happy days. What a result. Chops on him. So today we are booked onto peg 15 on the dam wall, and as you can see in front of us, there is a serious expanse of water. And after talking to fishery management, that being James, he's told us really to fish at range, which is exactly what we're going to do. I want to be able to fish comfortable and effectively within my limits. So let's get into fishing, and I'm going to take you through step by step how I do it. So when it comes to fishing and range, your tackle and your technique is the key element to accuracy. And here I have a designated Spomb rod. This is in a 13-foot variant. That's followed very closely by a 12,000 reel. Also on here, I have the new 16-pound XD braid, very thin diameter and extremely good for this style of fishing. And that's followed very closely by a 50-pound braided shock leader, and that is the Spomb one too. Coming down to the bottom part here, I'll show you very quickly. I have a 4-ounce distance lead. This is going to help me achieve the distance of what I am fishing today. And with this, it's going to help me feel the contour of the lake bed a lot more. It flies true, and it's going to give me more confidence that I can hit the spot each and every time. And something else I like to do that I don't really see a lot of people do is wet braid is also very important. It's going to help it fly off the reel a lot more smooth. And what I tend to do is just simply underarm flick it out, stop it there, tip into the water and just reel. It's as simple as that. Don't dunk your reel in the water. That does not go down very well. And also, another key tip what I also do is, as you'll notice here, my reel is also at the top of this oscillation. I want my knot to be at the bottom of the spool. So what I simply do is I pull that down there, start the reel again, and as you can see now, my knot is at the bottom. That's purely for the fact that when the rod is going through the motion, it is going to be coming off the reel very quickly. The last thing that I want is the reel loop here to be getting caught under that knot, having a crack off. It's an absolute nightmare. That helps me so much when fishing at long range. Another little tip, I like to have my lead roughly in line with the butt ring. If it's anywhere between the spigot and the butt ring, that's a good drop. That gives you that full pendulum just to get it straight out there. Also, another very big factor to remember is weather can be your best friend or your worst nightmare. As you can tell now, the wind is off my back. That's going to allow me to put a few extra wraps onto my distance. If it was in another situation where, yes, the wind is off my back now, but in 24 hours, the wind is going to be in my face, I'm not going to want to fish a distance where I'm chucking to the moon, and then all of a sudden, 24 hours, I can't hit the spot, I'm getting bites, and then you can't get any more bites because you can't fish it accurately. So the most important thing to do is check the weather before you trip, make sure it's going to be in your favour. If not, fish to your comfortability. So today, because the weather is in my favour, I have clipped up to 35 wraps. I know I can fish comfortably to that with the weather that is put in front of me. I know I can fish accurate, I can put 3 rods on a spot and bait over it, but I just want to chuck the lead out there, feel the area, make sure I'm on a nice spot, and yeah, just be happy with it for the duration of the trip. Moving on to now my technique. I'm not going to lie, I have had a few cast intuitions, and I do think that is something to not be ashamed of. If you feel it's going to benefit you in your fishing, by all means, go and do one. It will help you. So what I do is I hold my reel like this. I have 3 fingers in front and my pinky sat behind the reel. This just gives you more coverage on the spool. If you're there like this, you've got no, as such, grippage over the rod, and you will feel that you're going to let go. So I've learned to do it like this. Yet again, this is just how I feel comfortable. You may feel comfortable in a different scenario. With line placement on my finger, I don't put it in the crease of my finger because everything matters when you're doing this. And when the line's coming off here, it's got so much to catch on that if it does catch your finger, it's no good. It's going to simply affect your casting. So I just have it right on the very end. Yet again, that's how I feel comfortable. That's what helps me put yards onto my cast. And then moving on to the next point, everything's got to be straight. This arm has to be straight and this arm has to be straight. Some people like to put the rod over their head and stand there and go from this motion. I don't do that personally, but if so, have your arms fully extended, therefore you're using your full potential, and body weight and technique is also very important. I like to put my left foot forward, right foot back, and then with this, simply you can rock forward and then back, then go. But for me, what I do personally, that I feel I can fish more accurate doing, is I go straight over my head, aim to where I'm going, still staying straight, and bang, straight over the head. On the clip. That don't feel like a bad spot. So we're here at Naseby today, and the tactic of choice is the PVA bag. And we're fishing up to ranges of 140 yards plus, and I'm going to take you through step by step how I tie my solid bag to get out to those distances. So first of all, we start off with a Rapide Solid Bag system. I've got my black locking collar on there. This just helps bring in the actual system a lot tighter. It makes the PVA bag slide over a lot more easier. Once that pulls off, that makes the bag all nice and secure on there, makes life a lot easier. So I start off with my PVA mix. I put a little bit in the bottom there, fan it all around, and I just save a little piece in the corner here. That is where my hook bait's gonna go. Hook bait in through the top, and at the top here, you've got a little groove out the top of the system. Your line catches in there, keeps the lead out the way. Yet again, makes life so much easier when tying it. I've then put my hook bait into the corner of the bag, bit more bag mix in there, like so. Then personally, I grab the lead and I just dab it down like that. What we're aiming to achieve is a really tight, compact bag. This just helps it fly aerodynamically a lot more through the air. A little bit more bag mix in there like that, just to cover the lead. And then this is where the magic happens. It couldn't be any simpler. Pinch the PVA, twist and push, and keep going until you're at a point where you're satisfied of how tight or the resistance of the PVA. Obviously we don't want it to rip, but they are pretty robust. So I'm at a point now where I'm happy. You then lick around the PVA and simply push over the top like so. Hold it there for a couple of seconds just to let the PVA work its magic. System off. I personally push in the corners. You don't want any drag on the bag whatsoever. So I just push in the corners, little lick, bit of stick, hold it there for a few seconds. Repeat on the other side and bang. That is how I tie my solid bags for fishing distance. So to start with, I'm going to fan 3 bags out in and around the area, and then later on I am going to introduce a little bit of bait. This does seem to be the going tactic at the minute. A couple of bags out there in and around some bait, that being a bit of crumb, bit of boilie, and you're only allowed a little bit of corn here at Naseby. But to start with, like I say, 3 bags around the spot and hopefully try and entice a quick bite. So we're approaching midday now. Unfortunately, no bites as of yet. So now I think is a good time to put some bait out, purely for the fact that I just think maybe a bit of noise might encourage a bite. Maybe a bit of crumb going through the water column might just enhance a bite a little bit more. So I'm just going to show you what I'm doing now. So we'll start off with a few boilies. These are 12mm actives. Got a bit of water in the bottom of the bucket as well, just to take on this crumb to make it a bit more dense. So here, crumb, quite fine. I put this in just to bulk out the mix, and obviously it is a going tactic here at the minute. So I put that in there, bit of water in the bottom just to take it on. I can see by that I need to add a bit more. Another good handful in there. Stir that round. This looks incredible going through the water column. It gives off so much attraction, It's flaky, it's light, but it also adds a massive attraction to the mix. And then my last ingredient that I'm going to put in, bit of pellet. This is a 2.3 variant. This is just to bulk it out as well also. Put about, say, that much. Last but not least, good old sweet corn. You're only allowed to put a little bit in, so I've only put just a little bit in there. This also bulks it out and gives it a bit of colour, because we're faced with about 20 foot out there, and obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the clarity of the water is obviously going to be not very good because of the weather that we're faced with. And yeah, a little bit of colour. That looks like a lovely mix to me, and hopefully we'll bring the carp along. So before I get this first spom out, I'm sure you can probably see what is so important, not only fishing at range, but just fishing full stop, is to always wear a finger store. We're fishing obviously a long distance today, and if I wasn't to wear one and this braid went through my finger, my whole trip would be ruined. So this is so important to wear, like I say, all the time when spomming, not only with your spom, but with your main rods also. This is the new Spomb one. It's got lovely Spomb detailing all around it. And if you want to be a tackle tart and have it matching, I like it. As you can see, we've now moved in. We're losing light, the evening's drawing in, and unfortunately nothing to report as of yet. But on a positive note, we spoke to the bailiff earlier this afternoon, and he said the gentleman over the far side there, which isn't really a million miles away, caught last night. So that is a positive sign. So hopefully going into this evening / the night, we potentially might get a bite, which is really good. But yeah, as of now, unless I have a change of heart, I'm really happy with how the rods have gone out. I'm happy with my baiting up. I may trickle in a few more spoms before I get my head down, but I'm going to keep my eyes peeled. I mean, it is a big bit of water if you have come here before. And yeah, it's very hard to gauge where fish are, and when they are showing, we have potentially seen a few ifs and buts today. But what we have seen is it looks within distance, and then you put a lead out and it's just, the lake just laughs at you. It's that big, honestly. I'm really happy with how the rods have gone out, and hopefully next time I see you, I'll be holding my first Naseby carp. Wow, as you can see, we're bent into a fish. It's about 3:30 in the morning now. It's finally woken up. I've nearly woken up. I'm really happy to be playing a fish, I'm not gonna lie. I did have doubts yesterday afternoon, I must admit, with that wind that was coming over. You know, it didn't really look good for it. We didn't see any fish. But you've got to stay positive in situations like that, you know. There's always fish in here to be caught. I think he's literally down here. Yeah. Right. Where are we? Where's my... He's literally just under the water. Sorry, mate. Oh, sorry. Cameraman to the rescue. I've dropped my net current. Oh my God. I've never done that before. What am I doing? Rush hour, mad. Get out of there. Probably a good bit of promo, as you can see the X6 is floating in the water. Get in the net, you common carp. I'm happy to have that fish in the net. Oh, he's a beautiful one as well. Bit of frost on the net. Oh, check him out. And my first Naseby carp. They float as well. Good nets. F***'s sake. What do you reckon we should do? Get some footwear on first, I think. I've never, didn't even want to net, just threw the net at it. Lovely times. So Naseby has got a lot of fish in it, and when you get an opportunity like this, when it's been dead quiet for all those hours and then you get a bite, they are potentially shoal fish, and this time of year it's obviously cold, they're sticking together, so you want to get the rod straight back out on the spot. So I've got this bag tied up, ready to go back out, straight on the spot. I'll unhook that fish, get that rod back out, and I'll show you my first Naseby carp. He is a beauty as well. Well, how about that? My first Naseby carp. He's probably a scraper 20, but size doesn't matter at all. Your first fish from a new water just proves that all your tactics are right, you're in the right area. And I know it took a while to get that first bite, but yeah, proper res carplet, overslung, chops on him. What a carp, I'm absolutely buzzing with that. This just proves that Solid Bags not only close in, but at range work also very well. You know, this rod's been out there at 140 yards. We haven't seen fish out there, but that just proves that they do live out there. And yeah, to say I'm happy to be holding this carp is an understatement. Yeah, what a result. Little morning update, nothing much come after that fish that we had this morning. I managed to get the rod back out, a couple of spombs over the top, I've had a rechuck, and yeah, we've not really seen anything again. It seems very similar to yesterday morning. Apart from there's a lot more birds in the area. I do think this time of year, any time of year to be honest, birds are a massive edge. If you watch a lot of drone footage, and especially when there's birds in and around the area, the carp do tend to follow them, and I do think that is a massive edge. So yeah, I'm going to potentially have another rechuck. I'm not really happy with how one of them went, so I'm going to get them back in. I just want a bit of a peace of mind, a few more spombs over the top, and hopefully just, yeah, just press repeat on what we done yesterday really. All three rods back out on the spot, more bait, and yeah, hopefully try and entice another bite. As I've got my rods in now, this is the perfect opportunity to run you through my setup of what I use to achieve these distances. To start with, I've got the X6, that's in a 12-foot 3 3/4 variant, lovely comfortable rod to cast, and it's my preferred style of rod. That's coupled with a 12,000 XC reel, and on the reels is the 16-pound Exocet Pro. Because of the rules at Naseby, there is a 15-pound break-in strain minimum. In a normal fishing situation where you haven't got a line restriction, I would tend to knock it down to probably a 13 or a 10 if I can get away with it. I just believe it helps put more yards onto your cast. It's a thinner diameter, and obviously that is going to help you put more yards onto your cast. And then following on from the main line, I have got a 45-pound shot leader. This is the most important part of casting at range, or casting full stop. With this, I like to usually put seven to 8 turns on my reel and then halfway down onto my rod, because when I am casting, especially at these distances, there is a lot of tension going through the rod and on the braided shot leader at that. And when the rod's going through the motion, obviously it's doing a recovery action, and I want the rod to be fully recovered before the knot passes through the eyes. The shot leader that I'm using today is the 45-pound Naturals mainline. Yes, it is a mainline, but it also acts as a shot leader too. I like to buy this in the bulk spool. This comes with a 300-metre spool. This is purely for the fact that it will last me all season, and I do tend to replace my leaders regularly. Obviously, there is going to be obstructions out in the water. You are going to get little nicks in it, and with this distance that you're casting, there is a lot of tension going on the line, and the last thing you want is a little lick in your main line just by not paying attention. That is so easy to change, and I will show you how I tie my leaders on. It is simply a back-to-back grinner. It takes 2 seconds, and you can just replace it instantly. And like I say, this will last me all season, no problem. With that being said, that is my setup for fishing long distances. So for now, I'm gonna get my bags all tied up, back out on the spot, a few more spombs, and hopefully we can get a bite before we go home.
Hey.
So, we're bent into fish number 2. What a relief that is. Having been told it's all been night bites and then having a night bite, and then just sat having a spot of lunch and then all of a sudden the same rod ripping off again. Yeah, I'm very happy. Everything's working. Everything we've explained, gone through, is working, and that's the main thing. And yeah, it feels really good to be bent into this fish, I must admit. At the start, it didn't feel a bad fish, and now it just seems to be swimming towards me. It stayed in a relatively straight line, but 140 yards out, you don't really feel a lot. There's so much elasticity in the line. There we go, he's doing something now. Fish on. I don't want another scenario like last night. I'm not going to throw the net at the fish. Hopefully scoop him up first time. I've never done that before, ever. Doesn't feel a bad fish. These rods are so nice to play a fish on. That's the thing, they can put a bag out there 140 yards, no problem, and then at the same time just play a fish really, really nicely. Not too far away now. I'm gonna grab my net, no pressure. Don't want to throw him in. Just take your time. I say I didn't really have a good feeling about today, but we haven't seen a lot of fish here, and especially with the wind that we've got, you do expect a few fish to be off the back of it, but more or less they are going to get on it. And yeah, this is a really positive sign, and yeah, I'm really happy to be bent into this fish. Lovely little mirror. I haven't had enough yet though. He's charged up this one. He's ready. Oh, happy days. What a result. Oh, check him out, he's brilliant. Nice little plump mirror. I'm so happy to have that one in the net, honestly. It just proves that everything's working, and yeah, really rewarding that is. So let's get him out and I'll show you in properly. So here we are, another cracking Naseby carp. I must admit, these Resi carp have got a proper overslung mouth. Wicked, he was absolutely nailed. Exactly the same tactics as the fish this morning. And yeah, honestly, I'm so happy to be holding up another one of these fish. Brilliant. Lovely. Cheers, mate. Lovely times. I believe that every carp angler should own one of these, and it is a designated PVA bag bucket. In here, I've got all the components that I need to make for a PVA bag. It can stay in the van and I can get it out at any eventuality and be ready to fish. So let me take you through what I've got in it. It's a 10-litre bucket, and in the top, I have the insert that fits very nice and snug in the top. In here, I keep all my spare end tackle components, that being stems, PVA tape, spare bags, a Rapide system, spare hook link and spare leads. And then moving on into the bottom of the bucket, I have the sticky bait PVA bag mix. That's a mix of 6mm, 4mm and 2.3mm pellets, followed very closely with an active mix. This just helps it all bind together and get that really compact bag that we're all trying to achieve. I've also got some hook baits. These are the signature wafters, also by Sticky. I also like to fluctuate in between artificial hook baits depending on the situation, just so I've got every eventuality covered. So that's everything that my PVA bag bucket consists of, and I'm now going to show you how I tie my PVA bag rig. So here is my PVA bag rig. It's a very simple yet effective blowback rig, and I'm going to take you through step by step how I tie it. So I start off with rolling off about 5 to 6 inches of 20-pound reflex camo. I then create one loop a little bit larger at the top end. Then I'm going to grab my hook of choice, which is a size 6 wide gate beat point hook. I then pass the loop through the eye of the hook. I then get a hook ring swivel, pass that over the top of the loop. I push that over the top of the hook and then pull it down, so effectively I get this loop bit at the back here. I then grab one of the new Naturals flippers. I pass that onto the other end of the hook link. I then pull it up over the knot and then ever so slightly just over the eye of the hook. I then measure out on the top of my tackle box 5 inches, another overhand loop. These are both with figure of 8 loops. I then grab one of the new little anti-tangle sleeves that come with our new stems. I put that over the front of that. I then grab a 3.5 ounce inline lead, stem through the lead. I then attach the hook via a quick link swivel, anti-tangle sleeve over the top, and it really couldn't be any simpler. Last thing I do is floss on my hook bait of choice, cut the tag ends off, blob it down, and there it is. A very simple yet very effective PVA bag rig. So my time on Naseby has come to an end, and I'm really happy with those 2 fish, and I truly believe that being able to put those bags a little bit further has made a difference. As far as I'm aware, the lake has been fishing really difficult. A couple of gentlemen who walked past this morning said they hadn't caught or seen anything, so the result that I've had I'm really happy with. So hopefully you've taken something away from this video, and if you have, please like and subscribe, and until next time. To see more videos on the Fox YouTube channel, click here, and to see my most recent video on fishing zigs, click here.